Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome once again to another inspiring edition of Dr. King Talk Show. And this project is all about a 250 days countdown to America 250 years independence. I mean, what a time to be alive. What a time to witness and what a time to prepare for. I believe very strongly that empires of the future are the empires of the mind. And for those who are going to be a major player in the future of this country and the countries around the world, I think the best time to start. Today, we are honored to feature Dr. David Brown, a trailblazer whose journey spanned continents from South Africa to United States, bringing faith, science, and service in extraordinary ways. As an assistant professor of animal science at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore, Dr. Brown embodies the fusion of innovation, education, leadership, and defines what we call today the American spirit. With a career grounded in research, outreach, and mentorship, Dr. Brown has transformed small ruminant production through sustainable practice, research, community deepening education. His pioneering work has not only empowered farmers and students, but has also elevated agriculture innovation here in America and around the world. And so, with great excitement, I celebrate as we journey towards the celebration of America 250. I want to welcome specially to this To the King Talk Show, Dr. David Brown, PhD. You are very much welcome, Dr. Brown.
Thank you so much for having me today. It's a pleasure to be with you on the studio today. Thank you.
Thank you. I always want to know what inspires you. What makes you start this kind of life journey that spans 2 continents, decades, input into human development and animal science. What is your inspiration? What really inspired you? How do you start this journey? Yes.
Thank you so much once again for having me today. My story is a long one, but I'm going to shorten it because of our time. Initially, when I started in life, I actually wanted to read geology because I was going to do into mining and, minerals. But as faith and God will have me, I had a very good result during my the WAEC, we call that in Nigeria, is equivalent to GED, the US. And I was with the one professor, during my admission, and they asked me, what do you want to do? And from nowhere, inspiration, I just said animal science. And that's how I found myself, over 3 decades, two decades, in the field of animal science that has transformed my life. And I've met a lot of great people, mentored a lot of people. So I think it's by divine inspiration, finding myself in agriculture and in animal science.
We cannot really deny the fact that even when we look at how the earth has evolved, the creation and all of those things, food production is one thing that we cannot shy away with. The people that are really feeding the world today are the people who are sustaining each and every one of us. Your background started from Nigeria, South Africa, and United States. So when we look back to South Africa, because I think I also have a little inkling of going through South Africa, so we have some similarities there. So when you look at South Africa, can we say that your leadership, something was formed from that place, or it was from Nigeria, or it's a combination of so many things? Your leadership experience, all of the things that we can say that have shaped you today. Can we say it's really from South Africa or it's from Nigeria? It's a combination of so many.
Thank you. I think Dr. King, life is a journey into adventure. Nigeria was to me, was like a foundation. It gave me the theoretical knowledge because sorry to say, most of the things we learned in Nigeria in school is more of theory. But when I go to South Africa, I tend to put the theory into work. And that's where the experiential learning and hands-on learning comes in. So South Africa really helped me to be able to translate the knowledge in theory into practical by meeting with people, by engaging farmers and producers. And then the United States now just helped me to put innovation into what I've learned in Nigeria and South Africa. So it's a combination of processes that makes me to be where I am today.
I love that. Looking at your antecedent. You have gone through Missouri in United States. Now you are in Maryland. I love the fact that what we love eating so much in Nigeria, you talk about the goat and the sheep specialist. Tell me about that. Tell me about this goat and sheep specialist. Well, is this something brand new, or you are the one who initiated it, or is it part of your project or something? Yeah.
Thank you, Doctor. That's a whole love story. My journey actually, it wasn't only in Maryland and Missouri. I did a postdoc in Virginia State, in Virginia State University. So
Okay.
I did my postdoc there. And like when we talk about protein products, we know more of eggs, we know more of beef and chicken and pork.
Mm,
There's little
mm,
knowledge of what we call lamb or goat meat. And so
mm,
based on my training, I was well positioned to be the first pioneering specialist at the University of Missouri Extension. There's never
mm,
been a sheep and goat specialist, so I was the first person to actually hold the position for more than about 3 years, and I was to develop the program from ground zero up. So
mm,
and the reason is because we need to introduce to American consumer, the importance of lamb and goat meat, not only for immigrant but for the local people. So that was where I started the journey, and it's been wonderful. So when people talk about sheep and goat, at least to my knowledge, in Missouri, they can point to Dr. Brown because of the groundbreaking work I was able to do
mm.
while I was there.
Tell me about your mentorship program as a specialist and as someone who has pioneered something in that field. Have you been able to raise some new students? Is it something that you are trying to extend into the American system, and has it been embraced, or is going to be a journey?
Thank you, Dr. King. When it comes to mentorship, I believe in knowledge transfer. There's no one that's going to be just an island of knowledge without transferring knowledge to the next generation. I'm very
Yeah.
generational in my approach, and I know you are, so mentorship is one key area that I've incorporated into my program. I've worked with a lot of American students. I've mentored a lot of them, transferring knowledge and teaching them importance of critical thinking when it comes to our field. Mentorship is one of the cornerstone, of my career because I'm trying to transfer the knowledge into the next generation. Consumers do not really, many of them have a lot of stereotype when it comes to this meat. So it's a great one for me to be able to convince, and I keep telling people anywhere I go, the way to catch them is to catch them young. Many of the older
Mm,
generations, it's difficult to reach out to them because of the brick wall. But the younger
yeah.
generations are very malleable, very easy to be convinced scientifically.
Mm. I love that to catch them while they were still young. So, what are the challenges? Let's also go to it. What are the challenges, that you must have faced in trying to cross the bridge or trying to bring this new kind of relevance into the mindset of the people? What kind of give us some brief on some of the challenges and acceptance also?
Okay. It's so amazing for me to tell you during this live studio that how can you have a farmer that is
Mhm.
raising sheep and goats for more than a decade and the person has never tasted that before? How do you want to
Say
compete?
that
We have
again.
American farmers that
Mm,
raise these animals, and they have never even put that on their table to taste what they raise. So for you to look at the perplexity and the complexity of what I need to do to break tradition and to break
mm,
barrier as a new specialist in sheep and goat in Missouri. Missouri is a
mm,
beef state. They love their beef, and I appreciate that. So it took be a great work, idea, innovation for me to break the barrier, the tradition. It has been
mm,
built, and the program, like I said, has been very successful right now because now many people are now they understand the importance of raising these animals. They understand the nutritional content that they can get from these animals, and the youth are now embracing these products through my programming.
wow, amazing. If we quickly look back to, the challenges we have in Africa, we look at the multi-dimensional challenges. This kind of program, do you think it's something that can easily bring transformation to Africa as a whole? Because I think if you are pioneering things like this. I mean, by extension, I'm trying to look at how, I mean, I don't want to speak for you. Do you think this kind of program can really be infused? Because I know that the diaspora plays a major role in both in funding, in infrastructure, and all of that. Now we have a challenge with agriculture. We have a challenge with so much food production. Do you think that this is going to can help? Have you tried to do it, or will they accept it, or just let me know.
Yeah,
What do
I'm
you
just
think?
right now. I'm discussing with some international organizations at other institutions, and one thing
Mm,
that is a very big concern to me is back home we don't have good extension programming. How do I mean? We do research in the university, and most of the time
mm,
our research die right there.
mm,
Extension, that I've seen in the US is what bridges research from the university into the community. And that is what is lacking in Africa. We don't translate our research, we call it apply research, into what people can use to to better their life or their operation. And so that's one area
mm,
that I really, if I have the opportunity, to do information back home, we need to engage the government. We want research
mm,
not only end in the station, we have to go beyond
mm.
that into the community, and that's when it becomes adoption and it makes impact in the lives of people.
Amazing, amazing. And I just believe that this is the right way to go, because one of the things that this platform wants to do post 250 year of America is to see how much we can influence Africa and contribute to our own diaspora dialogue and all of that. The more we bring in core leaders, professional from all sectors and walks of life, we look at how we can solve, because everything is not money. The
Yeah,
transfer of knowledge is critical, because it is information that I
yeah,
believe brings about transformation, and it's a journey. And most of these things that are missing, once somebody can champion it and say, let's begin to bring it into light, I think the
yeah.
journey has started. So let me ask you, where do we start the journey of mentorship from, especially for those in maybe both here and in Africa? It may not be really be part of what you are doing right now, but where do we start the journey of mentorship from? Because I know there's a very huge gap in our food production system in Africa. Where do we start that journey? How can you, maybe from your own perspective, how can we start the journey of mentoring the next generation of farmers, the next generation of people that we go into livestock and all of those things that can help probably reduce the imports that we focus on in Africa? Yes.
Yeah, and I think that's very, very is a very good question because, like I said, we need to transfer the knowledge. The reason why I'm here today is because I was mentored by some people, and they
Mm,
transfer that knowledge to me, and I'm able to
mm,
be where I am today. So we can't talk of the next generation if there's no adequate tensional mentoring, and we need that much more in Africa, for people so that we can transfer the knowledge that we have and grow, the our community. And so mentoring, I think, is one of the cornerstone of the work we do so that we can be able to transfer that. But there are a lot of things that has to be broken. There are a lot of barriers when it comes to mentoring young people. Dr. Kim, one thing to say is that even right now in the US, we see many people trying to deviate because they think agriculture is a dirty work. They think you have to get your hands dirty.
mm,
The advent of technology and innovation, precision agriculture,
mm,
smart agriculture,
mm,
AI,
mm,
you do not need to get your hands dirty. And so we need to begin to teach the young ones about just
mm,
bending down and getting your hands dirty. There are new
mm.
innovations that we can teach, and that's where the mentoring and change of mindset comes into the next generation.
Mm, mm. I love that, especially when you mention the issue of artificial intelligence. I think that is a very huge one. Are you also strong in using AI to teach agriculture? Because I know that there's so many solutions that are coming up right now that is making the world. You mentioned something about we don't need to dirty our hands, and I know we still do a lot of subsistence. Even here in America, I think there's a lot of food shortage. Look at the present challenge, the shutdown and the SNAP food. People had to go through a whole lot to even have their daily meal. I never knew that America can also face this kind of something. So I don't want to miss my line of thought. I was talking
Yeah.
about AI in transforming agriculture. Tell us a bit about that. They are innovative.
Thank you so much, Dr. King. Yes, right now we have a lot of innovative ways that are shaping and transformed agriculture. Like you mentioned, the advent of artificial intelligence. There's what we call smart agriculture. There's things that we call virtual fencing. So, this whole thing is there to help. Dr. King, you realize that during sustained farming, we can only produce so much for so little. But now we have growing population. We cannot rely on sustained farming or the whole method of doing agriculture if we want to meet the
Mm,
demand of these growing population. And so we have things like
mm,
biotechnology, things like genetics and breeding. We can
mm,
breed a particular animal for meat production only. And that's what we see. We
mm,
have a beef. We breed animals just for beef, for meat. And you can see an animal weighing about 250 pounds. So these are
mm,
the result of biotechnology, genetics and breeding, smart agriculture, that has come to empower, the phase of agriculture into the new generation. So we need to be compliant when it comes to artificial
mm,
intelligence in this
mm,
generation.
mm. From your perspective, do you think America is having a food shortage problem, and how can they go about solving it? Is America really food solvent, or we are having a huge challenge of food shortage? I know the population is about 350 million. I know that America also still bringing a lot of import and all of that. Is America really food sufficient, or there's still a very huge gap?
That's okay. I'm be in the field because I've worked with a lot of producers, multi-state, in Virginia, in Missouri, in Maryland, and I would like to say categorically about American agriculture, most of our food comes from the rural areas, rural farmers.
Mm,
Most of these
mm,
farmers, when we go to teach them, we have to teach basic terminologies because many do not have advanced degree that we have. And like I said, adoption of new practices is a big challenge to traditional rural farmer in America.
mm,
We have companies that are
mm.
doing well. Most of the companies are in the city. But when it comes to the rural place where we grow our potatoes, where we raise our animals, our
Mm,
vegetables, these are rural Americans. And so that's where extension, like I said, comes in to bridge the gap and to tell the people innovative ways, research proven way, evidence
mm,
driven way, whereby we can
mm,
do agriculture. We are not
mm,
yet there, but I believe with the work of extension, and that's why I
mm.
like this country. They put so much work in university extension programming, bridging the gap between research and the community that we adopt the research, and that produces impact.
There's this question I have here. I mean, you are a man of many parts. How do you share yourself between Royal Diadem, Student Fellowship, America Praise, and the youth mentorship and faith-based leadership that you are trying to do? I mean, as a man of many parts, how do you share yourself? How are you able to juggle all of these things together? Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. King, for that question. Royal Diadem Christian Fellowship was established when I was finishing my doctoral program in South Africa. Dr. King, one thing that motivates me is that I love to give back to my community. I don't want to
Mm,
leave a place without leaving my footprint behind. And so out of
mm,
passion for God, out of passion for the student. So we can teach student, knowledge, but there's something that transcends beyond knowledge, which is spirituality, So
mm,
that was created by them, and we're able to raise by God's grace about 100 students, not only for
mm,
spiritual things, impacted their lives spiritually, physically, emotionally, and in all other areas of life. So juggling this together is not about my priority. I set my priorities right. I know that
mm.
God come first.
Well,
Everything, Dr. King, everything we are will be is from God. And so
yeah.
when I say prioritize, I'm able to, do most of the things American pray, also was born out of the fact that we need to see God's will being established. Love this nation. I dream about this nation before I came here. And so to give back to this nation in my own little way, beside research, I gather people together to pray. It's the will
Oh,
of
wow.
God for this nation
Wow.
because America
Wow.
is a great.
Yeah, I believe that. I believe that very strongly because when you even look at the founding creed of the American founding father, they will tell you, in God we trust. And every government, either in the past or in the present, in one way, but I think this present government is trying to do so many things like bringing back prayer to even the White House, Bible to the schools, and a whole lot of policies that they are trying to do to bring value back. I think so. It's a step in the right direction. Now, I want to ask you, as America proceeds towards the journey of our 250 years and beyond, what do you see as the pathway to the future, and what are the kind of preparation that you are trying to do to add value? Because I believe this is also going to be a major shift and a major season in the not only in our own lifetime but in the lifetime of our own children. So uh what's your own kind of tenacity as we proceed into the 250 year and beyond? Yes, sir.
And okay, I think, before we talk about the next 250 years, we have to think about how we've been sustained in the past 250 years. And one thing that I want to talk about is the landmarks. Bible says,
Okay.
do not remove the ancient landmarks that your
Mm,
fathers, you rightly mentioned one landmark in
mm,
God we trust.
we trust.
So God factor that has kept this country 50 years back is what we keep our going in the next 2 years. We need
I
the
love
fear of God. We need to
love
bring
that.
the fear of God into this nation because the fear of God is always the beginning of great things. So one thing
Love.
we need to go back to the ancient landmark, go back to the what the founding fathers built this nation on, and then continue to build because without foundation, no building can ever hold. God is the foundation that will take us to the next 50 years in this nation.
This is such a very interesting and intelligent discussion. We cannot have all of you. I'm going to ask you one more question before we close the discussion tonight. And when you look at the economy of America today, you see that the generation we have right now, even though it's the TikTok generation, social media generation, we've seen a lot of people only want 9 to 5. A lot of people only want the like job. A lot of people want to do, even they don't mind doing 2 jobs. And a lot of people have gone through education. They have to pay through loan, federal loan and all of those things and all of that. How do we help? In what way do you think we can help people also begin to embrace entrepreneurship? How do we help the young people to also see that beyond 9 to 5, life can also, you can diversify, you can discover yourself? I want you to speak to the young people who will watch this somehow, and I want to just give them some basic steps so that they can look beyond. Because you mentioned something about people don't want to dirty their hand. Now I know that in this economy, majority of the people who are really making it are those who really dirty their hands. So what are the things that you think people need to do, the steps they need to take in 1, 2, 3 steps that you want to give to people, especially the young people, as we proceed further into the future?
Thank you, Dr. King. Very good question, Dr. King, because this is so dear to my heart and the heart of my wife.
Mm,
And I'm going to use my children as example. We told them that you cannot just rely only on you go to school. School is important, they will go to school, but you must also rely on the giftings,
mm,
skill development,
mm,
skill building. Because in the marketplace, it's not just going to be your what you know in your head, but the skills you can acquire. Dr. King, just look at the last government shutdown and how many people were
mm,
stranded. If only a few,
mm,
3, 4 have skills, while they were
mm,
growing up, not when they were adults, as young people, they have skills that can do with their hands. Many will not be stranded. We need to incorporate. I'm a
mm,
lecturer, been teaching, but we need to incorporate entrepreneurship and skill development into our curriculum. It has to be
mm,
compulsory. You have to go to trade school, technical schools, and learn something that they can do because anything can happen, anything can fail, system can fail, but what you know, the skills you have cannot fail. So we need to incorporate skill development in our curriculum to empower the next generation and create that business mindset. I register my kids in business school. They, they have savings. I give them money every month and I say, this money, how do you want to grow it? My son begins to go, I want to
mm,
do it. These are the skills and the
mm.
mindset.
I love
He's
that.
just years
I
old.
love
Yes, all my two boys have their accounts. They get money stipend from me every month, and they are growing their money. These are the things we need to incorporate into the next generation. We can't keep depending on government. And that's one thing this country depend government this, snap this. No, we need to be self-sufficient by developing
Mm.
skills in every areas of life. Thank you, Dr. King.
I really, really appreciate this discussion and the direction is going. And I can tell you, this is one of the main lifeline of this 250-year celebration and beyond. I believe very strongly that skill pay the bill, that our skill can pay the bill. Look at what you are saying about the shutdown. Now, so if people have actually embraced skill, learning to discover their talent, their ability, their gift, and their skills, and they have been able to deploy it, develop it, and deploy it and display it, I'm telling you, many people will eventually begin to have another channel of income that is totally outside of the one you are having 2 weeks pay and check, which is okay. I mean, but at the end of the day, so I quite agree with you, and I think that is the direction we are going to go. I mean, if all we also can do as our own contribution to this nation is to say, okay, we are championing a movement of people developing their skills, and we are able
Mm.
to also help them in one area or the other to look inward and to tap into the things that God has given to them, then we'll see that there's going to be a whole lot of people that we would look back 5 years, 10 years from now, say we have seen a whole lot of major transformation. Your last word for the nation America. I know you've said something about going back to God, and I also wanted to speak some just give your own word of advice, your own word of hope, your own word of encouragement to our listeners and to the people that we believe that the future belongs to them. Yes, sir.
Dr. King, I want to first applaud you for this idea. I believe it must be from God to sit down and bring this great idea into fruition. I want to applaud you for that, and I pray that the sky will not be your limit. I pray for you.
Mm.
One last
Amen.
word, like I said, is wisdom,
Mm.
wisdom, wisdom, wisdom.
Mm.
Wisdom is what make the face of the wise to be shine. Wisdom. We need to go for
Mm.
knowledge. Just like Dr.
Mm.
King said, we need to learn and relearn. We need to keep
Mm.
learning. Learning never ends. Let's go
Mm.
for wisdom. Let's make a change anywhere you are. Let there be a change. Make a positive change. Let people know someone B or C is there. That's the last one I'm going to leave with our audience tonight. Let's make a change in our world. It doesn't have to be great, but a little change, a little drop of water can have a difference in the mighty ocean. Thank you so much.
Dr. David Brown, thank you so much. And I'm telling you, this session reminds me that life is not by duration, life is by donation. If from the things that you have spoken, I can pick that life is truly not by duration. Life
Mm.
is by donation. And I mean, what from your life reflects that even for this America 250 journey, I can look at your life and say from the farmland of South Africa to the classroom of America to the research field of Maryland and the farm field and all of those things, you have been able to use your skill and your ability to uplift so many farmers to help them transform and change their mindset. What a very beautiful journey. I know this is not the end of this journey. We're still going to have you because I know definitely you are a book author, and I still know that we have a book club where you can also come and let's discuss about the books because I know information brings about transformation, reformation, and nation building. Dr. David Brown, thank you so much for being part of this discussion. It's been
Thank you so much,
wonderful
sir.
having you. I look forward to having you once again. And to all our audience, thank you so much for being part of this journey. Every night we bring one person from the marketplace. Tonight is Professor Brown, and every night we bring one CEO, one young achiever to come and inspire. I tell people in the journey of life, it
Mm.
takes inspiration, and when you are inspired, I'm telling you, even though you perspire, don't retire.
Mm.
God will give you the power to acquire your desire. I want to thank each and every one of you that have been part of this discussion. I want to thank Dr. David Brown. I want to thank our producer and everybody behind the scene. I'm looking forward to another intelligent discussion tomorrow as we journey towards America 250. Finally, I keep telling people America is a country of immigrants, powered by immigrants, and very soon will be led at all sectors of the economy by immigrants, people from different color walks of life. So this is the time for us all to rise up and take our place and be numbered among those who will transform the future of this nation, and by extension, send our children and our generation to different parts of the nations of the earth to go and make a difference for God and for eternity. Thank you once again, Dr. De Brown.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Bye. Thank you.